Jeff Nippard, one of the major YouTubers I have yet to do a diet analysis video on. Things with Jeff, he's really on the ball with some of the science, and it's kind of funny that has caused some backlash because people think he kind of over-sciences things and takes the fun out of training, which I think is quite funny when people get backlash for their videos. It's like, you don't have to watch the video. Are you okay? You can just close it. I thought it'd be interesting to look at this one. He's saying, can you eat well and train well? Offer 10 bucks a day, because I think that's pretty cool. I have also been a student. I've made a couple videos on like budgeting with decent food, so I think that'll be more interesting than his regular diet, because that'll probably be quite dialed in, and then I'll just be sat here saying, yes, that's good, yes, that's good.
Can you get just as jacked spending $10 a day versus $10,000 a day? It's a good question. Back when I was competing in bodybuilding, I had to build my physique on a strict budget. But plenty of pro athletes and celebrities swear that their expensive, luxurious routines are the key to their physiques.
LeBron spent $1 million on his body a year.
$1 million on his body?
So in this video, I'm running a 2-day experiment. On Monday, I'll have...
I feel like it's kind of funny they can't make the disconnect between the fact that someone like a LeBron or an athlete is more taking care of their body. It's not just about getting jacked. Okay.
$10 for the entire day to cover all my meals and training costs. On that day, I'll be putting my best low-cost fitness tips to use. Then on Tuesday, I'll have $10,000 to spend on the most luxurious fitness protocols money can buy. So for my $10 budget day, I'm having 4 meals, and I want each meal to cost around $2. For my breakfast, I'm doing a low-cost, anabolic peanut butter protein smoothie. This whole thing only cost me $1.50, and it has some really solid macros with 48 grams of protein. The reason it's so cheap is that milk and whey protein are some of the cheapest sources of high-quality protein. Today, I went to Walmart and made a list of high-protein foods ranked from cheapest to most expensive. So the cheapest source of protein I could find is actually lentils. You can get 40 grams of protein from lentils for just 66 cents. The second cheapest source of protein...
Yeah, lentils super underrated. I personally get them out of like cans. I think chickpeas go together here. Decent micronutrient content. There's some fiber in there. There's some good stuff. So cheap. Now the thing with lentils out of a bag, it's probably would be the cheapest option, but it can be a bit of admin because you have to soak them before you actually cook them. And it can be even a bit of an issue because if you're like grabbing stuff on the way home from the supermarket to make dinner, they won't be ready in time, so you can't just get them out of a can. But yeah, most of the legume class of vegetables like the lentils, the chickpeas, the kidney beans, so good for the price, so underrated. I don't see enough people eating them. There's black beans there too.
Is milk. You can get 40 grams of protein from milk for just 81 cents. The third cheapest source of protein is chicken breast, offering 40 grams of protein for $1.07. Protein powder comes in at the number 6 spot, but keep in mind that some of the sources on my list are a little too high in calories.
Yeah, protein per gram of protein is actually very cheap. I don't recommend you go for the isolates or anything. They kind of just like, they're charging you double just so it has 1 gram less of carbs, but you're eating it alongside milk, which has carbs, so like, what's the point?
So if you're cutting, I'd stick to the lower calorie sources highlighted in green. I made another list for carbs, and the top 3 cheapest foods were white rice, brown rice, and oats. And bananas are the cheapest fruit. For healthy fats, the two...
Nothing new there. Pasta's really cheap too for carbs. Yeah, carbs can always be pretty cheap. I recommend like if you're just cooking with like beef or something, just beef it up with some, well, I guess legume it up with, with some things like lentils and chickpeas. It'll just give you a lot more volume to that meal and good stuff, good nutrition, and it's cheap. With the fruit there, it's actually quite interesting. I'd say probably dried fruit is probably a bit more carbohydrate dense for the price, particularly things like dates. I really like dates as something pre-training. I prefer them to other dried fruit, like dried apricot. Also really carb dense because it's just fruit that has the water sucked out of it. But because you're eating, like you could be eating like 10 apricots, there's a lot of sugar alcohols in there, which aren't bad for you, but they can cause a bit of indigestion, which I kind of feel it makes you gassy. It's not that nice, but I stick to dates. I think most people would probably agree with them. And you can throw it in your bag and forget about them. You seal it. So good.
2 cheapest options are sunflower seeds and peanut butter. Most nuts are pretty affordable too. So now it should make sense why I picked milk, peanut butter, whey protein, a banana, and some oats.
Yeah, peanuts are super underrated. Most nuts have some things that are good for you. A lot of them have antioxidants. Peanuts are quite interesting because they're one of the better ones as far as both protein density, but also antioxidant quantity. They have coenzyme Q10, which is quite unique in that quantity to peanuts. Like it's only in a few other foods in decent amounts. So peanuts, so good. Peanut butter you can pretty much throw in anything. Like, you can even throw it in some dishes on rice. Like, it's pretty good.
For our low-cost, anabolic peanut butter protein smoothie.
And since this cost $1.50, that leaves us with $8.50 left for the rest of the day. And remember, that needs to cover 3 more meals, any gym costs, and supplements. Speaking of which,
I also took some basic supplements with my breakfast. 5 grams of creatine only cost me 15 cents, and this multivitamin only cost me 5 cents.
creatine is awesome because it's one of the most effective supplements, and it's also one of the cheapest supplements. If you buy creatine in bulk, you can get it super cheap. This only costs 15 cents.
You probably don't need a multivitamin as long as you eat a generally healthy diet, but I do still take one just to make sure I'm covered.
Base take with the multivitamins, don't use it as a crutch, use it as an insurance policy.
Okay, meal 2 is my pre-workout meal. And for this meal, I'm doing a high-protein chicken wrap. It's easy to prep the chicken in bulk. The wrap should only take you a couple minutes to put together. You can also prep it the night before and take it to work with you.
Once again, I went for some of the cheapest foods on my lists. Chicken breast and brown rice with some spinach, cheese, salsa, sour cream, and of course, 1 large whole wheat tortilla.
Now, my only issue here, I really don't like raw spinach. Not only in taste, but the thing is, if you buy it, say, frozen, and then you boil it and then drain the water, you're draining out a lot of the phytates and oxalates, which will impede on some of the micronutrient uptake from some of the other foods here, like out of the chicken and some of the dairy and everything else here. So that's probably my one complaint. Also, if you boil it and drain it, it allows you to get more spinach actually in, just because it, shrivels out quite a bit. But otherwise, fine. Like, these are all decent foods. I quite like if you can just make a big burrito mix and keep it in the fridge and then just make wraps whenever you're ready. That can be quite helpful if you are time pressed.
This whole wrap cost me $2.01.
Also, if you want to go back to what I said before, like things like chickpeas and lentils go pretty well in wraps, like throwing some sour cream, it goes pretty hard.
And that leaves us with $6.29 left for the rest of the day.
About 30 minutes before training, I'll have some kind of pre-workout caffeine. You can get a tub of a standard pre-workout supplement for about $30, which comes out to 50 cents per scoop.
Or you can have a cup of coffee for about 25 cents per serving, so about half the price.
A new study found
Yeah, pre-work is actually like kind of underrated for the price. If you kind of just enjoy that more than coffee, like a lot of people spend, I don't know, $5 on a cup of coffee per day every morning. Have some pre-work, you dude. Like that $5 a day adds up to like $2 grand per year. It's quite funny as well how for this video has picked up like some C4 Sport, which is like the most underdosed thing, but it's for the video anyway.
found that caffeine on its own was just as effective as a multi-ingredient pre-workout supplement. That means if you're on a budget, simple coffee might be your best option. Caffeine tablets are also super cheap. Each pill only costs about 5 cents. In Canada, you have Fit for Less and Planet Fitness. You could also work out effectively from home. A set of workout bands costs $40 and a pull-up bar costs $30. So for your first year of lifting, that would mean a workout from home would cost you about 19 cents a day. I personally don't like bands quite as much as free weights or machines, but they are cheaper and can still get the job done, especially if you're a beginner. I'd personally rather train at a gym with more options though, so I'm gonna hit my leg day at a Fit for Less.
You don't have to do a ton of sets. You can get in and out in 45 minutes.
Yeah, this can be quite fun if you're either time pressed or if you're traveling and you're just in like a terrible gym. It can be quite fun to just throw something together. If you train with intensity, no matter what equipment you're using, you're probably going to get a decent workout out of it. I think most people don't push with enough intensity. You'll always see people just like taking 5-minute recoveries to do bicep curls on their phone the whole time, like giving themselves technique. It's like, why are you here? Okay.
Time if you do that.
I had a great leg workout, and I definitely don't think you need a super expensive gym membership to make amazing gains. This workout only cost me 33 cents, which means I have $5.71 left for the rest of the day. Let's go back home and get in a post-workout meal.
So for my post-workout meal, I'm doing a simple turkey and veggie stir fry. And for your post-workout nutrition, you're really not in any rush. So it's totally fine if you come home and have a solid whole food meal about an hour after.
Based. Someone finally said it. Literally just go home and have a good meal. You're probably just going to cover the carbs and the protein that you need to synergistically stimulate some of the growth pathways. People just focus on protein. The carbs are going to help a lot too with that. Things like muscle protein, the synthesis, IGF-1 signaling, the good stuff.
Cost me $2.83. This is my most expensive meal of the day, but also probably the most nutritious. For this meal, I just fried up some lean ground turkey and mixed frozen vegetables with soy sauce, brown rice, and an egg. You may have noticed that on my carbs list, veggies all look very expensive. but that's mainly because you need to eat so much of them to get a full serving of carbs in. A hack for knocking the price down is to buy them canned or frozen. Frozen veggies are sometimes even more nutritious than fresh veggies, especially if the fresh veggies have been sitting on the shelf or sitting in transport.
I would definitely recommend frozen over canned, because with the canned ones, a lot of the micronutrients can leach out into whatever liquid they're stored in, and then of course you drain that. So frozen is just a little bit better, I would say. And the reason they're lower in calorie, I don't focus on the macros with vegetables. They're not really for that. They're mostly water and micronutrients. So yeah, treat them like that.
For the cost, this is an amazing, nutrient-dense post-workout meal with 46 grams of protein and some solid macros. By the way, I'm tracking all my meals for the day in MacroFactor.
MacroFactor costs $5.99 a month if you go for the annual membership, so that comes out to about 20 cents per day. I'm a part owner of MacroFactor, so I may be a bit biased, but I really do think it's the best nutrition app on the market. A nutrition coach can cost you $200 or $300 per month. MacroFactor costs a tiny fraction of that, and it does.
Then why am I doing this for free? No, subscribe, it's free. Doesn't cost you $6 a month. I don't know how good his app is, but it's free here. There aren't even ads. Okay.
Does actually coach you. The app will adjust your calories up or down over time as your metabolism adapts, just like a coach would.
So that was the end of the first section for like trying to be healthy and get in shape for $10 a day. I'm not going to go too much into the second section because it was just like expensive health treatments, which isn't really within the scope of the channel so much, but I think it was mostly pretty good. I really recommend things like, you know, the chickpeas and the lentils, so good. The rice, the oats, the peanut butter, those are actually still things I eat just as staples just because they're good food. And I mean, I'm not on a strict budget, but I don't mind if it's cheap too. Particularly if you're trying to bulk, that can be really helpful. Or just you have a high calorie target like me. Just with training, I have a tough time sometimes eating enough. So things like that can be quite helpful. I'd say certain things like, I don't know, berries or salmon are some of the things I really recommend for antioxidant and micronutrient options. They do cost more. You can get a lot of the way there with cheaper things and maybe just a couple supplements to fill in. Like salmon, for example, is really good for omega-3, but you can get fish oils as a cheaper alternative. To save myself rambling on for like another 10 minutes, there's a whole list here. I did a tier list on things that are quite good for budgeting and just good foods. Be sure to check that video out if you did enjoy this one. But let me know your thoughts below. I will see you in the next video.